The story leads our bulletin this hour. The man convicted of the rape and murder of 6-year-old Amantle Samane has been sentenced to 2 life terms in the High Court in Johannesburg this morning. The 25-year-old Mozambican national, Simiao, confessed to kidnapping, raping and killing the Soweto girl. Samane disappeared from her Orlando West home in October last year. Her body was then found in Simiao's home in Orlando East days later. Judge William Karam has delivered his sentence. Now, while handing down judgment, Judge William Karam said Simiao showed no remorse and he's a danger to communities. Sending them away will save a lot of women and children.
Having regard to all of the aforegoing, this court is of the view that the following are proper and just sentences in the circumstances. On count 1, the kidnapping of a child, you are sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. On count 2, the murder of the minor child, you are sentenced to life imprisonment. On count 3, the rape of the minor child, you are sentenced to life imprisonment. On count 4, contravening the Immigration Act by remaining unlawfully in the Republic of South Africa, you are sentenced to 2 years imprisonment. By operation of the law, all sentences imposed run concurrently with a life sentence. For what it is worth then, the sentences on counts 1, 3 and 4 are to run concurrently with the sentence on count 2. Accordingly, the effective sentence is life imprisonment.
Now, the 25-year-old man who pleaded guilty to kidnapping, raping and murdering 6-year-old Amantle Samane has been sentenced to life. As you've heard there, our reporter Neria Hlakotsa has been monitoring proceedings and joins us live from court. Good afternoon, Neria. We saw visuals a bit earlier on, some of those gathered in the gallery. They're clapping at Judge Karam's life sentence ruling for both rape and murder. Just take us through the proceedings today.
Good afternoon to you, Mfundo, and good afternoon to the viewers. You know, when Judge Karam laid down that sentence, basically handed down that sentence, the gallery was clapping. And you also could have seen Amantle Samane's mother crying as she heard the sentence. And this mother, Amantle's mother, has been saying that what she wants is justice for her daughter. She spoke about how she will miss her daughter. And you know, when Judge Karam also was handing down the sentence, he spoke about the trauma that Amantle Samane might have went through during this process when Simiao kidnapped her. You know, the judge speaking also about the fact that when Simiao did not testify in court, he leaves a lot of questions, especially to the family, because the family wants to understand why he did that and perhaps how he did that. You must remember that Simiao also admitted to the fact that when he kidnapped Amantle Samane, he also left her in his shack to go buy alcohol, and the judge there saying, we don't even know, we are none the wiser right now in terms of the effect that the alcohol had in this situation. Remember also, Mfundo, that Simiao's legal team had argued that their client is remorseful, but the judge saying that it is not clear, it is not in the court, rather, is not in possession of how remorseful is he. Is it the fact that he is now feeling sorry for his actions, or because he has been caught? And this is one thing that the NPA was saying, that if he was remorseful, he would have pleaded guilty a long time ago. It's been 10 months that he has been in custody, and it's only now, when the trial was about to start, that his legal representative decided that, or advised him rather, to plead guilty. And speaking of his legal team, I want to bring in Advocate Ndibuo Masindi just to speak to us about this sentence that was handed down here at the High Court sitting in Johannesburg. Advocate, thank you so much for your time. Your client has been handed down essentially a life sentence for the crimes that he committed. You advised him to plead guilty. Your reaction to this?
Thank you so much. Yes, indeed so. He was handed down 2 life sentences, and which they are going to run concurrently. But before the sentence proceedings, I managed to talk to him, and he seemed to understand and expect the sentence that he was going to get. So with regard to the issue of showing remorse and regretting, yes, I understand there's a difference between showing remorse and regretting, but he indicated that he wanted to plead guilty. Just that when the matter was still at the regional court, we were still waiting for the DPP's decision to be taken to the High Court. That is why when we arrived here in the High Court, from the onset, he indicated that he is pleading guilty.
You know, the NPA is saying that the evidence against your client, he could simply not plead guilty. Why did you perhaps advise him to plead guilty?
You know, after we received the copies of the docket, I consulted with him, and he volunteered himself before I advised him to plead guilty, that he is regretting what he have done, and he wants to show remorse to the court. That is why we entered a guilty plea. But from the onset, we wanted to go for a trial. But then after receiving the contents of the docket, and after I consulted with him, he indicated that we must not go for the trial, because now he is regretting, and he wants to show to everyone that he is showing remorse. That is why he decided to plead guilty in the matter.
Advocate Masindi, thank you so much for your time. I also just quickly want to bring in the landlord. This is where Pete Sarah Simiao was renting his shack, and definitely this is where Amantle Samane's body was also found. You must remember that he was renting in Orlando, and this is where residents of Orlando found Amantle Samane's body. Thank you so much, Mandoza, for joining us. You know, it was in your yard that you decided to help the community of Orlando to open that shack. When you heard today, basically Judge Karam saying that he's handing down 2 life sentences to your former tenant, what was your reaction?
Ethi ngicela ngithi nje ngiyabonga, ngicela ukubonga uNkulunkulu ukuthi ilanga la namhlanje lize lafika. Ngifuna ukubonga nayo Amantle, ngithi intombi yami ngiyabonga ukuthi uzilwele mntanami ukuthi lenjalo namhlanje ithole into yayo ekumele ithole, you know. And I just want to say this, life has not been easy for us. The very same as a family ka Amantle, they are going through a lot. Nami nomfazi wami, life is not the same anymore. Even if abantwana bethu, life is not the same anymore. Myself, mina ngisasebenza, I lost my job ngomay because of, you know, I always tell umuntu, mentally, physically, spiritually, passing Amantle took a toll on us. Njengoba ithathe a toll on her family. Nathi kithi umntanethu. Nathi sinayo umntana entombazana ukuthi every day tebogo lento emlimazile, we always try and simkhuthaza ukuthi mntanami, things are going to be okay. But I just want to say this to South Africa, siyabonga. You know, we're grateful that this day has come, and this dog, I wish this man would die in prison.
Thank you so much for your time. That is the former landlord of Pete Sarah Simiao, and his views are views shared also by the community of Orlando, where Simiao used to reside. And you heard the advocate saying there that after seeing the docket and the evidence that the state had against Simiao, they simply had no other choice but for him to plead guilty to killing, kidnapping, and obviously raping, and also just being illegal in the country.
Neria, thank you very much for that reportage. That's SABC News reporter Neria Hlakotsa there at the sentencing of Pete Simiao. 2 life sentences handed down for the rape and murder of little Amantle Samane. This is now perhaps where the painful journey of mourning the loss truly begins, with no distraction of court proceedings. The family can now fully take in the devastating loss. A very tragic story there.